Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
It's a bottle of Windex, Craig. I didn't realize that was back there. Hey, welcome back to The Rundown. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the two-way views, conservative news. And Craig, I couldn't figure out what that was. I'm in the monitor, and I'm like, what do I have blue that's back there to drink? And it's Windex.
It's Windex. Well, at least it's not going to interfere with our Taco Tuesday.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yum.
Well, that was different. Is there a reason why you are partaking of Windex?
Oh, when I looked over at it, it said it was 80% alcohol. I figured I'd give it a shot.
I don't think that's exactly what they meant, but okay.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you. So how are we doing today?
My teeth smell great now.
Of course they do.
How
are we doing
pretty
today?
good. Pretty good. Show, get ready.
It's all working, yada, yada, yada. And, well, let's just say it ain't necessarily working the way it's supposed to. Stuff, man. Some equipment just decided this week, well, maybe I'm ready for SHOT Show, and maybe I'm not ready for SHOT Show.
Yes, and that equipment would be me and Craig.
That equipment would be me and Craig, pretty much. Yeah. We're working on it though. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be having a good old time doing the usual things. The usual suspects will be present. Just want to remind y'all, if you are going to be in Las Vegas, and if you're watching this show, chances are you're definitely going to want to show up to come hang out with us. We're going to be doing a pre-SHOT Show party, a welcome party, for lack of a better term. It's going to be happening Monday evening. It's going to be happening on January 19th. It's going to be from 7 to 10 p.m. As you can see there, a full list of folks who will be hosting and will be help us make the event a fun event. You'll notice there's going to be free beer. There's going to be free swag. There will be free snacks. Because as I like to say, those of us in the Second Amendment community, we don't do hors d'oeuvres, we do snacks and prizes. So you're going to want to be there. You're going to want to have a good time. You're going to say what's up to me and Mike and all of the friends who are connected to the show.
For all the East Coast folks, that's 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So I don't want to hear any excuses how it's too early. And Craig, we write snacks because it's shorter than Orge Divorce. And we don't have a lot of room on the flyer. So
Orge Divorce.
Orge Divorce.
Just call them snacks. Scooby snacks. Will there be Scooby snacks?
Yeah. Well, there'll definitely be plenty of dogs there. We know that.
There will definitely be plenty of dogs there. There definitely will be plenty of dogs. Anyway, we're going to have a good time. We're going to be there all week. We'll be doing interviews. Mike will be doing interviews for Arms Room Radio. I'll be doing them for 2A News, and then we'll be running the program there from a daily basis, except for maybe Monday. We may not do the program on Monday while we're there, but yeah, Tuesday through Thursday at least, we will be doing the rundown there from there. And we'll see if Monday can work. It all depends on how our setup is and all of that fun stuff, but. We're going to have a good time there, and we hope that you will join us. If not in person, that you will at least watch the show.
Should be worthwhile. Yeah. Get your SHOT Show scorecards out now. Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's get into the program and do it how we usually start it. And you know how that is. We start off with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
That's right. Let's say hello to our good friends over at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. I want to get yourself some AR barrels. They've got them over there, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, whatever length you need, whatever caliber you need, they got them ready to go. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. You want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market. Get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything except the gun. And Greg, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure about what was it, CRAP there, or California Republicans RP. Are they going to be at the show, at the party? Because I think everybody else is.
Well, I will be representing them as their director of communications and their chief spokesman. Yes, I will be there. I will be in the House representing the California Republican Assembly.
There we go. So we should have across the board rundown sponsorship present at the party.
Well, not just the rundown, but just people who just support the. There's going to be a bunch of them there.
Yeah.
Mucho fun.
You keep cutting in and out, so I'm just going to do a lot of nodding of my head from this.
That's fine. You know, folks, and I want to apologize on this episode. For some reason, the software has just decided it's going to be a little janky today. Both our connections are a little shaky, as well as our connection one with another. Mike and I, my friend here, Mike. I don't know what's going on. What? No. Okay, you read too much into that one, Mike. You read entirely too much into that one.
Talking about our connection, I thought we were.
Yeah, no, our connection is not quite there.
Okay.
Nice try, though.
Gotcha.
Nice try, though. All right, well, getting into today's news programs, yesterday kind of hinted to you that, there's going to be some discussions at SCOTUS today surrounding the states that have passed restrictions or bans or restrictions on transgender, in particular women, or basically men being involved in, or males being involved in women's sports. And leading up to the discussion today, Fox News did a little bit of kind of a breakdown of really kind of what the issue is. And so I want to play a little bit of that. And then I want to give you a chance to hear a little bit of what what I thought was the main point of some of the arguments.
And a legal showdown over state laws to protect female athletes in school sports. It's about to get underway at the U.S. Supreme Court. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino.
Good morning to you, partner. I'm Bill Hemmer. Kind of a day of history, right? A bit unusual. We will hear the audio from inside the U.S. Supreme Court that will include the questions from the justices as they hear two different cases challenging state laws that ban biological males from competing against girls and women. Now, the High Court's reviewing appeals from Idaho and West Virginia after lower federal courts ruled against them. Arguments in the Idaho case expected to start any moment.
And we have Fox team coverage, starting with Alexandria Hoff. She is live outside the court. But first, let's get to our legal panel. Carrie Urban, Jonathan Turley, and John Yoo. Great to have you all here. Jonathan Turley, it's the first we've been able to hear from you. How do you think this court will question these the plaintiffs and the defendants here?
Well, it's an interesting case configuration because, first of all, one of the litigants does not want to be in front of the court. She's attempted to dismiss her case, which may reflect the fact that her equal protection claims are very likely going to be turned down by the court. You have justices that have said different things in prior cases. Justice Gorsuch work nation that this was a type of sex status. You also have Justice Barrett, who came out very forcefully in a recent case where she said this is not a suspect class. I expect that Barrett represents the majority of the court here. We'll be listening for those justices, but I do think that these states have the upper hand with this court.
Okay, that's a good preview.
And that seems to be pretty much what people have assessed coming out of the conversations, as being reported also by Fox News. Supreme Court conservatives signal support for state transgender sports bans during oral arguments. Says the Supreme Court struggled for consensus Tuesday as it publicly debated state bans on transgender female students from competing in women's and girls' scholastic sports. Both sides repeatedly invoked contrasting versions of, quote, fairness and, quote, equal opportunity before the justices during more than 3 hours of oral arguments in the courtroom. Idaho and West Virginia separately defended their laws and that limit participation for transgender females who are designated male at birth in both public school and college athletics. And I really do believe the main point that I really felt had to do with the fact that, well, let's be honest, the law is written based on the idea of protecting boys and girls. That's the whole point of the separation. Well, here the ACLU makes a not so stunning admission. That's what I'm looking for. Admission relating to their definition of boys and girls.
A school may have separate teams for a category of students classified as boys and a category of students classified as girls.
Yes, Your Honor.
If it does that, then is it not necessary for there to be, for equal protection purposes, if that is challenged under the Equal Protection Clause, an understanding of what it means to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that definition? For equal protection purposes, what does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
Sorry, I misunderstood your question. I think that the underlying enactment, whatever it was, the policy, the law, we'd have to have an understanding of how the state or the government was just understanding that term to figure out whether or not someone was excluded. We do not have a definition for the court.
So that probably was right up Justin Ketanji Brown Jackson's alley. But admittedly, there's there's a definition. I would think that you would use the definition of the law when it passed, but no one. I mean, I guess when they initially decided on Title IX, and they decided allowing separation in boys and girls sports, that they didn't feel like they had to define what a boy and a girl was, and now evidently they do, but they don't have a definition.
Greg, I'm surprised you don't have a video ready to go. We know the definition. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
I know. If I had time, I would have had that.
That's all there is to it.
That is the definition. But, yes. And that's really what I think Alito is getting to, is that there are, and this whole conversation, I mean, a lot of it was around the biological differences, why there is a separation. And I think there was very little discussion, at least from what I heard. And I listened to most of the oral arguments. I didn't get all 3 hours, but I got at least over 2. And there was very little actual discussion about the fact that, look, can we just follow basic biology and understanding male and female? And part of it is, and this is where I think Alito was going, is, look, are we using the definition based on gender identity, in which case there is no real definition? You know, it is whatever you feel. Or are we using what has always been the historical definition, which is the biological differences, XX chromosomes, XY chromosomes, and the physical characteristics that, or as identified also by the physical characteristics thereof? And it just seemed kind of simple where, you know, at least the conservative majority is going to be like, look, this is all undefined. Even the science, and that was a big part of the conversation about the science. They're talking about the science is undefined, or it is still being discovered, undiscovered science. And that's because you're basically experimenting on kids is the problem here.
Yeah, rough stuff. Listen, obviously Alito there was trying to get her to say what the difference is, what the sexes are. But I'm surprised you didn't push her a little further. You know, why don't you take a moment, examine yourself, see if you can figure out what you are. You know, I think that. Listen, I'm not asking you to go with the other 71, genders. Let's go with yours.
Right.
But this will be a fun one. Listen, I think we all know how this is going to turn out. This will be fun to read.
Well, it's going to be fun to read, but what is going to wind up happening, and I think you're seeing this happen a lot with lower courts, is lower courts are going to pretty much do what they want to do, because they seem to be not all of them, but some of the judges seem to be just flat out ignoring Supreme Court precedent. At least we've seen that in regards to Bruin, right? We've seen that happen a lot with Bruin, where Bruin clearly stated, don't do this. And then states went out and did that, and courts have said, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Something's going to happen, and we heard it again. I forget which senator was talking about it this week. Was it Ted Cruz was talking about impeaching Boasberg, and I forget the other fringe justice that's out there. Another one of the Democrat appointees that's just throwing the rule of law away dealing with these cases.
I know that I know the Supreme Court is loath to do something like that, but at a certain point, the Supreme Court has to, at the very least, if Congress decides that they're going to go down this road, they need to at least chime in, because if lower courts are going to basically be able to thumb their nose at the Supreme Court and get away with it, then what do we have a Supreme Court for?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Boasberg was the one, and I'm trying to find the other here. But Craig, remember, impeachment from the Senate, from the House there, and as long as those numbers are there, the Supreme Court doesn't do anything more than certify it.
Well, so the House will vote. No, for them, I think it's a simple majority. In order to remove them from office, it requires, I believe, a 2/3 vote of the Senate, or is that only the President of the United States?
Yeah, I do not believe that it takes that for removing. Well, the other thing they could do, Craig, remember, is they can, let's say it does, and I'd have to go back and take a look. And I don't want to be wrong, but it would only take a majority to defund those particular courts.
That is, I knew exactly where you were going, and I 100% agree. That is exactly what would be the next thing, because look, if you're not going to honor the decisions made by the Supreme Court, well, then what good are you? And once again, the decision here by the Supreme Court is not to say you can't have transgender women or transgender girls in sports, in female sports. It's saying let the states decide. Right. And in the end, that is what it's going to come down to, I think, from the Supreme Court. They're going to say these because what's happening is you have a plaintiff. In this case, I think the ACLU is largely speaking on behalf of the plaintiff, arguing that they're going against these two laws that ban transgender women or ban biological males in female sports. And what you have is the ACLU saying, well, that law is unconstitutional. I think they're going to say, no, this law is very constitutional, because these sorts of things need to be decided not by the court, but by the people. What is a man or what is a woman needs to be decided by the people. And that's why he was looking for is a definition. What's the definition we're looking for here? What's the legal definition? And ACLU had nothing for him, because, quite frankly, once again, should you really have to define what a male and a female are? I would think you really shouldn't have to. But then again, what do I know? Because evidently, we have at least a Supreme Court justice and someone arguing before the Supreme Court that clearly does not know the difference between a man. No, yes, maybe.
So, Craig, just checking it out while we're here. Yes, it's majority in the House to impeach and 2/3 in the Senate to at the trial to impeach, but just the simple majority to defund.
There you go. Well, that's going to be what it folks in the end, what is going to take. And once again, I really do believe that the Supreme Court is loath to do something like that. But like I said, I think they need to do something. If judges decide that they're just going to ignore their rulings, then they really kind of need to do something.
I mean, the more they do nothing, the more they put their own existence into jeopardy. if the things they say are not being followed, why do we have them?
That's an interesting question. I wish I had an answer for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would 100% tend to agree with you. Anyway, moving right along to our next story. In the state of California, you might have heard that they're looking at instituting what's called a millionaire's tax. Well, there's a problem with this millionaire tax. And the problem with the millionaire tax is that, well, it's chasing millionaires out of the state of California. That's right. In the state of California, they've actually seen a mass exodus of those who are of the more financially secure persuasion, shall we say. This is an article written by the California Globe. It says, "Bye bye billionaires, Gavin Newsom's California exodus. Total wealth that has left California is now $1 trillion. We had $2 trillion of billionaires' wealth just a few weeks ago." It says here, California billionaires are leaving the state in record numbers and taking their billions with them. According to one billionaire, more than $1 trillion has already left. Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing a retroactive billionaire tax targeting the roughly 220 billionaires residing in California in 2025, ignoring that these individuals are the most financially mobile and can live anywhere, expecting them to remain in the state as if they will happily and willingly hand over even more of their wealth. Assuredly will be facetious. So, Mike, right now, a lot of people don't even realize is in the state of California, we are heavily dependent on the investor class, meaning billionaires, people who make their money off of investments, who own companies, who are employers. That's where we make a huge percentage of our budget. I mean, a huge percent of our budget is these folks. And now what they're talking about doing, and in all fairness to Katie Grimes, and I've known Katie for years, I do believe that Gavin Newsom came out against this tax, but the unions are pushing this thing big time. The idea of saying we're going to tax you based on your net worth. So whatever you are worth at the time this passes, or maybe even retroactively, they're going to go and tax your wealth and basically take somewhere between 5 and 10% of it.
Yeah, how about the whole unconstitutional retroactive thing, Greg? Right? You know, you can't make an ex post facto law, but evidently we can make a retroactive law so we could go in and take your money without your approval. What's that mean, folks? That means if I pass the law right now and it goes into effect 1 July, I've got until 1 July to continue to contest this or move out of the state. But if it's boom, just going in your account. We've now passed a law that says I can go in your account and take this money out. And guess what they're going to?
Yeah, that's
your account.
Well, in the end, what's going to wind up happening is they're going to wind up losing. First of all, these folks are going to fight this in court. You know this. I know this.
Right. But it's much harder to fight it when they've already taken your money. And that's what's going to happen when they pass this retroactively. Because every one of these people have an account already with your, whatever you call your Department of Revenue or Department of State, where they pay their taxes online. So they already have access to their accounts. And once they pass this law, they'll just go in and pull that money out.
Well, but that's also though why they're leaving, because once they're gone,
correct,
they're gone.
Correct. And it shows me what an ignoramus Newsom is, right? And we know he's dumb.
Yes,
fighting for power is what he's doing. That he really to pretend that he doesn't understand that sooner run out of other people's money, and that's what's happened. That's what's going to happen.
I don't understand. Well, part of it is that it's very easy to get the majority to tax the minority, right? It's real easy to say, look, I want this and I'm going to take it from them, right? If we're in the majority and we have the power. And unfortunately, that goes right to what Margaret Thatcher said. Socialism sounds great until you run out of other people's money.
Yep.
And that's where we're at right now. It's it's this idea that, well, we're going to take from them because we have more power than they do. And
Yeah,
as a result,
it's the same speech. We're gonna let the rich pay for our college. Well, how about the rich pay for their own kids' college? You get a job. How about that?
right?
How about that?
Exactly. How about you pay for your stuff?
Yeah.
I'll pay
Yeah.
for my stuff. You
Yeah.
pay for your stuff.
Well, otherwise, don't get me wrong. The world needs ditch diggers too. Get out there and pick up a shovel.
Well, they do. And like I said, I always laugh. I always talk about the fact, yeah, there was a time when I worked for with a college degree, by the way. I worked for minimum wage making cardboard boxes, 12-hour days. But
Yep.
you know what? I had bills. And so I did what I had to do to pay those bills. And had that company not been there, I wouldn't have been able to pay my bills.
Yep.
Anyway, I just don't understand why this is such a I don't understand why this is such a hard thing for people to understand. It's not that they don't understand it. I hate to say this, but people are, in the end, are very self-interested.
Yes.
And their position is, look, they are going to listen to any politician who tells them, I can give you everything and it's going to cost you nothing.
Right. Yeah. Mandami. Yeah. Sultan. Yeah.
Sultan. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, I really would just like to believe that people are smarter than they are. I really would. And I'm sadly, every time I develop that sort of expectation in my head, I am sadly disappointed.
Craig, every time you're on a street corner and you see 3-card Monte going on, it should be proof enough that some people are smarter than others and they're going to take advantage of them any chance they get.
Well, exactly.
And that's your government.
Well, it's called survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And, that's also, though, the reason why stupid should hurt.
Oh,
Hopefully you learn.
Yeah.
And you do better.
Yeah. Mess with ice. You'll find out how much it hurts.
Mess with ice and find, don't have anybody check ice at you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, this is a fun one. So, we've got all these liberals out, all these Democrats out there talking about I'm talking about Epstein files. I don't know if you noticed. Like all posting now, there's all a distraction from Epstein files, right?
I'm literally getting every other word you say.
Okay, so they're basically out there saying that everybody out there is all the stuff that's happening all to distract you from Epstein files, the fact that Epstein files have not been released, or not all of the Epstein files. It completely ignores the fact that there are literally like hundreds of thousands of millions of documents that, as a legal requirement, have to be redacted. Really ignore all that. Anyway, so part of that also is there are people who are being questioned, right? There are people out there who are being questioned, and one of those folks, two of the folks that are being questioned, Bill and Hillary Clinton. They decided that they're not going to, they're just not going to show up. They're just not going to be a part of the process. This is being reported by The Guardian. Bill and Hillary Clinton refused to testify in House Epstein investigation. Bill and Hillary Clinton announced they would not comply with a subpoena demanding special testimony about their relationships with disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, while launching an extraordinary attack on Republicans and Donald Trump. Republican-led House Oversight Committee in August subpoenaed the former president and his first lady after its chair, James Comer, announced the panel would review the government handling of Epstein and a convicted sex offender, who died what was determined to be suicide awaiting trial in 2019. In the letter, Comer dated Monday, attorneys for the Clintons called the subpoena invalid and illegally unenforceable, untethered to any valid legislative purpose, unwarranted because they do not seek pertinent information, and an unprecedented infringement on the separation of powers. The president the demand for testimony runs foul of clearly defined limitations on Congress' investigative power uh, propounded by the Supreme Court of the United States. They wrote, adding that it's clear subpoenas themselves and any subsequent attempt to enforce them are nothing more than a ploy to attempt to embarrass political rivals as the president has read. So in other words, what they're saying is that all you're looking to do is to make us look bad. That's what they're saying. All this is going to do is make us look bad. So therefore, we are not going to comply with your subpoena. And well, yeah, I gotta be honest, I know that here's the thing. The reason why they're doing it is they want to find out exactly why is this thing being handled so poorly? Right? In other words, why has it not been dealt with by now? Why are these folks still not in jail? Why do we still not have information on these folks? Well, part of it is because, as has been noted, the evidence of wrongdoing by those other than Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made thin. And I think prior administrations as well as this administration initially sought to keep their names out of association with Jeffrey Epstein because there really was no evidence to support the fact that they did anything wrong. Well, evidently they decided, yeah, evidently the people want to know. They just want to know who these folks are, who these folks are that are associated. Now, there are people on both sides of the aisle that will basically say, look, your name is the, you were on the plane, you knew the dude, so therefore you must be a pedophile. They're already calling Trump a pedophile, even though he's never been to Epstein Island. I know that it says that he's on the jet with family. So I don't know, something really big is going on. Definitely things happening with him and his wife there, or ex-wife there, him and his kids there. But anyway, all that having been said, it doesn't matter to the left because they're going to turn around. They just want something, literally just want something to be demonstrable overhead. Even though he's released most of the documents, they don't care. Really don't. In this particular case, may very well be all that they're looking to do is to embarrass the Clintons. And I don't doubt that is a likely possibility that is going to be their goal is to embarrass the Clintons. But once again, I shall continue. It's a subpoena. You can ignore it. Well, you're going to be held in contempt of Congress. And when you are held in contempt of Congress and you do not show up, I'm hoping that they get jail time. Just like the Republicans who decided that they were not going to, that they were going to a subpoena of Congress. I hope that they are held accountable as well. I know some of you are listening to the program or watching us. I do apologize that the thing has been cutting in and out. It will be reposted. So what I'm going to do is I will do a replay of this episode on all of our channels so that you will be able to get the entire program. Unfortunately, it looks like we've lost Mike. I think we're having an issue with internet connectivity today, which is usually not an issue. But if Mike's having a problem, then with hearing me, then that means that we're having an internet connectivity issue. So anyway, all that having been said, guys, as you know, the program will be replayed. So if you just want to shut it off here, listen from here, go back. Once it's uploaded, go ahead and watch the replay. You can go ahead and do that as well. All right, moving on to our next topic. It's always been kind of interesting when it comes to some people who are in the judicial system or in the legal system, and some people who are not. And I say that for this case, for this purpose. There are those who believe in rights and civil rights for themselves and not for others. There's nowhere more evident than in gun rights. Sadly, in the gun rights and the fight for the right to keep and bear arms, there are many in the legal system who believe that, well, if you are a cop or if you are a judge, well, then you deserve special rights, right? You deserve special protections under the law. Special protections that regular citizens do not deserve. Well, Our friend Mr. Cam Edwards over at Bearing Arms came out with these. And as he notes, judges come out in favor of concealed carry for themselves anyway. Said their judges typically don't weigh in on legislation before it becomes law and is the subject of litigation. But a trio of federal judges are speaking out in favor of a bill in Congress that would grant them the right to carry concealed in all 50 states. Writing at the Wall Street Journal, Judges Elizabeth Branch and Robert L. Wilkins, and supported by Judge Trevor McFadden, have come out in favor of Senator Tim Cotton's Protect Our Prosecutors and Judges Act, which would amend the law, which would amend the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act and allow prosecutors and federal judges with a concealed carry permit to carry across state lines, regardless of whether or not that state they're in recognizes their permit. As the pair write, quote, the bill addresses a vulnerability federal judges regularly face. We travel frequently for work, often in high-profile situations. Many appellate judges ride the circuit each month, hearing appeals throughout the region, but away from their home state. Federal judges on all levels also periodically sit as visiting judges in distant courts that lack the full complement of jurists. Most judges travel regularly to attend judicial conferences, to speak at bar associations and universities, or to officiate moot courts at law schools. Away from home, federal judges are incredibly vulnerable. Their attendance at hearings and other events is often publicized ahead of time. They frequently find themselves in unfamiliar territory where they lack the ready access to local law enforcement and federal marshals they employ in their home districts. But due to differences among states' concealed carry laws, even judges who can carry arms in their home jurisdictions often can't do so when they travel to others. Being unfamiliar with often complex gun laws in other jurisdictions, many judges often reluctantly leave the weapons at home when traveling. Now, here's the thing I don't get. If you just took out judges and you just put in citizens, what's the difference? I mean, seriously, what is the difference? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There are plenty of citizens who do high profile stuff who could be potential victims who might carry at home so that they can, they might carry a firearm at home in their home state in order to protect themselves. Now all of a sudden they go to a new state and they can't. When you look at how in particular the left is engaging in violence against conservatives, and you're saying now you don't have a fundamental right to be able to protect yourself. But these judges believe they should have the right. They believe the prosecutors should have the right. Wait a minute. If they should have the right, then I'm confused. I'm confused why they should have the right in regular citizens. So what's funny is that in many cases, you already have cases like California is probably one of the best examples I can think of, where you have people who think that, well, I can pass this law. We can pass this law. It's like I said before, it's like protections for me and not for thee. And I don't understand how you don't see how wrong that is. That you would put in place that you would provide protections for yourself and not see how those very same protections should actually be provided for the average citizen. I mean, you're supposed to be leaders, right? Leaders serve. They don't, they don't, I don't want to put that, they lead the way, right? They lead the way. And unfortunately, these folks don't care about you. They care about themselves and protecting themselves. Not the RB, how it be. All right, folks. Well, hey, that's going to now bring us to the part of our program that we refer to as parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All capsule spaces. Get your Hog Holster today on discount. All of our parting shots today are going to come to you from our friends over at the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. You know, there's a big protest right now going on in Iran. You have women in Iran who are fighting for independence, and then you have the liberal women in the United States who are fighting for, well, Marxism. Well, it says here, U.S. offers trade, offers trade. I'm sorry. U.S. offers to trade its liberal women for Iranian women. I would agree with that one. I would tend to agree with that one. Of course, if someone else who probably would disagree with that one, that would be good for Mr. Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson heads to Iran to put down protests. It's kind of it's just such so Tucker Carlson. And then finally, Somber Tim Walz announces every daycare center record sadly perished in last night's riot. Gee, I wonder what happened. Now, these are all fake news, just so you know. Once again, it's called Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. All right, folks, that brings us now to our parting shot. I'm not a parting shot. It brings us to the end of our program. Want to remind you, if you tuned in late, you can go and watch the replay. We're going to go ahead and, like I said, we're going to be uploading and doing a replay of this one because we had some connection difficulties, and I know that some of y'all missed some of the program. Luckily, we recorded it, and we'll make sure that you'll be able to watch the entire program. But one thing that we will do is remind you who our sponsors are, and that is the folks over at Hitman Industries, rifle and pistol caliber barrels available for you to purchase at hitmanindustries.net. We have the California Republican Assembly, the conscience of the Republican Party at cragop.org. We've got the best in concealed carry tactical holsters available on the market at hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com, helping Americans wear guns. And then finally, we have the place where you can find all things tactical except the gun, and that would be at uscombatgear.com. All right, folks, once again, we very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate your patience with our technical difficulties. We're going to get it fixed. It's going to be all right. We'll be back tomorrow on Hump Day. To then, y'all have fun, stay safe, and we will see y'all mañana.